What up, boxing family? We're back. Um, yeah, man. Looks like I don't know. Maybe hit the like. We're gonna do a you know fairly quick live. Get some news and notes, rumors in as we speak. Um, as you've seen, it's David Benevidez brags about sparring. Looks like new incoming breaking news. Xander Zayas is looking to unify against Barasa Basu in his hometown of Puerto Rico, a unified champ already, beating Duran Ennis to the punch. Salute. I don't know, man. Hopefully we get back in the algorithm. Hit the notifications, make sure they're on, hit the likes. We're gonna try to do a big, how we do it over here at Frank Bay. So yeah, man. It's like I said, what I'm looking on Boxing Scene, Ring Magazine articles. Robert Garcia is saying that he doesn't think Duran Ennis is going to take the fight next, and Eddie Hearn says that he has a backup plan if the fight doesn't happen. So, in my opinion, it looks like they're already preemptive striking. Both sides are letting the fans know that don't expect it. We're dangling the carrot, but don't expect it, which is shitty. That's just kind of how it goes for boxing, man. Is boxing fans are always getting screwed. But like I've been telling people, man, what you have to understand is it's probably going to be pay-per-view anyway. So you're gonna be charged. You're gonna be charged for it. So you guys talk about you want the fights, but is anybody gonna pay for it? That's the thing. Are you guys gonna pay for Virgil Ortiz and Duran Ennis? I don't know. It's hard to say if people are going to pay for it. Give me one. Hold on. Okay. Looks like the audio is good, but are people gonna pay for it? So 154 is heating up, and do you guys expect the fight to happen? I don't know. Like I said, I think it's 80-20, 80% that it doesn't happen. It's just not big enough yet. That's an unpopular opinion. That's an opinion that I have. Damn, man, I wish I had all the visuals. StreamYard be getting your boy, man. They really skyrocket the prices. I mean, is it even worth it to pay and have all the media assets? That's what they call it. But it helps. It really helps. But hit the like. If anybody wants to come and chitter chatter, man, I don't know what's going on, man. I guess when you've been away for a while, they really bury you. You know what I mean? But it is boxing channel. We need the intros, the outros. But yeah, man, I woke up today and I seen the news, and it's looking like they're already telling people that that fight is not. Don't expect it. Boxing, that's what they do, man. They dangle the carrot. And in my opinion, I just don't think it makes any sense to rush it. I know you guys are going to be angry and people say, oh, we want it. But I don't think people are ready to buy it yet. And, as I proposed earlier, I think a bigger, better fight is Xander Zayas and Virgil Ortiz. Let Virgil get a unification match with Xander. That's a lot of money there, in my opinion. Duran Ennis can go get a belt, and then at the end of 2026, they finally give you Ortiz and Ennis, and for maybe undisputed. I mean, who knows? The way boxing works, because Muratyev is expected to face Josh Kelly early next year, so they're gonna start mixing it up, and then depending what Sebastian Fundora does, like I said, Jermell Charlo. But look, man, don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen. I mean, I know you'll be disappointed. Eddie said that. Yeah, go look on Boxing Scene, or no, Box Live. I go to Box Live. Salute J Will, hit the like. What's up? Yeah, go check it out. I go to Box Live and they have, Boxing Scene, Ring Magazine, sub Never Sobers. Salute. Go check out Never Sobers. He's doing his things. He has the goons. So shout out BDA. That's where everybody kind of congregates. I think you have a server Discord that is pretty popping. Can always jump in, talk your shit. Real good time, man. Real good time with the boys, hanging with the fellas. Yeah, yeah. Well, look, man, Jay Will, are you gonna pay for it? See, that's what everybody's missing. You're going to have. They're like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody wants gimme, 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 right? Right? Sergeant. Thank you. Yes. What up? What up? Hit the like, guys. Let people know we're on if they want to come talk their shit. Um, yeah, man. How do you guys feel about it? Are you gonna pay for Jerron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz? I don't think, me personally, I don't think it's big enough for pay per view yet. Because you're already looking at Tiafimo and Shakira in a early January pay per view. Manny Pacquiao will probably be fighting in January. That's gonna be pay per view. You guys are not understanding that how many pay per views. Yes, you're gonna get the big fights. David Benevidez, Norman Haney as pay per view. You guys are not understanding that all these fights are going to be pay per view. So you're going to have to decide between Tio Shakira. Well, I wouldn't pay for that fight. Yes, I'm a boxing fan, but it has snoozer written all over it. I might get it just so I could talk about it. If it has an undercard like this weekend Virgil Lubin card, probably not. Yeah, I mean, look, man. If it's Turkey Ali, he may stack that card. But I'm letting you guys know that everybody's online saying, "Oh yeah, we want the fight," But people are not willing to pay for it. So, that's just how boxing fans are. They want everything, but don't want to pay for it. And that's kind of why they put it on pay per view, is because they got to make their money somehow. Right, the fighters, Jerron Ennis already makes $3 million for Lima Bean. Virgil Ortiz makes really good money. So when they step up and they fight each other, they're gonna ask for a lot of money, a lot of dough. That's what makes the world go around. That's what they fight for. Prize fighting. They don't ever get it twisted that they fight for legacy, that they fight for you, the fans. No, they fight for money, to pay, to get rich. That's the plain and simple of it. They fight to get, well, I don't know if you call it rich, but you make as much as you can while you can, because your career is very short. Benevidez, like I said, the thumbnail is Benevidez is basically saying he called Canelo a pussy. It's I think on a Ring magazine interview. He's talking big shit. That's what he does, right? The Mexican monster. He talks big shit. And Canelo taking a loss, it makes him even feel more superior. I don't know if any fighter has ever just dissed Canelo the way Benavidez has. And that's one of the reasons Canelo said he wasn't gonna reward him. Now, however you feel about it, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's how Canelo Alvarez feels. And Canelo Alvarez is still the face of boxing. He can come back tomorrow and sell pay-per-views. He's the last fighter that would have been able to sell pay-per-views on the million scale. Tank Davis did at one time, but we know his career has taken a downturn, right? There's no more Tank Davis. His career is over for right now. I seen that Jake Paul is rumored to face Tommy Fury, which stinks. The daily reminder that y'all, I think I know who that is, but he's not my god. That's what's funny. He's not my god. I don't think I ever worshipped Canelo Alvarez. That's just kind of corny. Canelo Alvarez could retire tomorrow. I'm not gonna quit talking boxing. That's the difference. When Earl Spence lost, you see a lot of people went away. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd, Fraud Mayweather, they all go. If Benavidez moves up for Zerto, he might as well go for Apatai after that not drop back down. Oh, yeah, you know what, Benavidez, man, he only fights twice a year. He's gonna move smartly. It always depends on if he takes damage. These guys take a lot of damage. I think he said he broke his hand against Gvozdyk. That's why he couldn't get him out of there. Virgil Ortiz hurt his hand earlier. We know Shakir has injuries. Bivol been injured. That's another reason. Part of the reason also, like Bud Crawford fights once a year, is the cycling. We just have to acknowledge that dirty little secret. Part of the reason that they don't fight as often is they need their cycle. And that's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Canelo is only the face because of drunk Well, it doesn't matter. He still is. People still want to see him fight. If Bud Crawford didn't have Canelo Alvarez, what would he really be doing? You need other great fighters to make yourself great. So, you know, look, man, it's a lot of hate. It's a lot of hate in the boxing world. People really do pick a side and a fighter, and that's who they go with. You got Teofimo fans. You got people who hate Teofimo. You have Shakira fans, and you have people that hate Shakira. To me, it's entertainment. I just kind of make fun of. It's just funny to make fun of these guys. Because people get so involved and have man crushes, and it's funny. Like Canelo's losing his hair. You can see Canelo is getting to the crossover point. He may have to go bald. Imagine bald Canelo, man. I think he would look like an ICE agent. Like a trader ICE agent. That's why I can't stand tune-ups in this era when they only. Yeah, but look, man, if you're Jerron Ennis and you can get $3 million for fighting Lima Bean, that's what you're gonna do. Don't forget to hit the like. We gotta run these numbers back up, man. We were doing good. Took some time away, regroup, re-strategize. We're back. So, hopefully YouTube shows us some love. You guys show the love, like, subscribe, share. If anybody wants to hop on, let me know. I usually don't drop the link because, the haters come through and bomb. But if I see that somebody wants to hop on for a quick minute and speak their piece, that's what it was. This is what it's for, is to talk boxing. We to get the conversation started. Is better Bivol happening? And I keep hearing people say Zurdo and Opataya. Benevidez needs to handle business somewhere. Somebody say ICE agent. How do you guys pop up like this, man? That's crazy. But I appreciate it. I appreciate all the likes and comments. We need as much as we can get, otherwise I'd be talking to a wall, which is kind of, discouraging. But hey, man, you know what I mean? Somebody's listening somewhere. Somebody is listening somewhere, and they'll tell a friend and then you just blow up for the glow up. You know what I'm saying? It happens. But slow growth, fast not hard. What is it? Fast not slow. You know how the slick pimps talk. I get that slick pimp talk. But it's all for the love of the sport, right? Boxing don't love us. That's why you're not getting Jerron Ennis and Ortiz next. Don't expect it. And if you do get it, you're gonna have to pay for it. And then when it doesn't do well, I really want to know where all these Jerron Ennis fans are. Bomb Squad, salute Eric Gomez, a real one. You guys are the real ones, man. Sarge, Never Sobers, Jay Will, even Ice Agent, J.A. Yes, salute. We back, baby. We coming back. Fast not slow. Just dropping a little boxing knowledge on you guys, for what it's worth. Benevidez was in the headline saying he kicked Bivol's ass in sparring. And what's gonna happen with Bivol? He got 99 problems, man. Xander Zayas in the news, making big news. I wish I could share the visuals. That's what we need in this biatch. Xander Zayas. Who would have thought that Xander Zayas would be ahead of Jerron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz? Even Fendora. Xander Zayas, if it's not fake news and he actually pushes through and gets a Barroso fight. I think he's an African by way of, I don't know, some European. Somebody help me out, man. You guys know more boxing than me. There's thousands of boxers. It's hard to keep track of every mofo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the sparring champ. I mean, look, that's one thing that people forget, is that all these guys kind of know each other, man. They all grow up around the same, like I'm sure Emiliano and Abazaba, Mason, they all know each other. They all hang out. They've all been in gyms together. They all sparred. That's why you have all the footage of Haney and Rolly and Tio. They all were boys. They all hang out. They all fought in the same tournaments. So, like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney had a long history. And Xander about that action. Sarge, are you half Puerto Rican? Are you a traitor to La Raza? Are you traitor to La Raza, man? How dare you, bro? Or do you want to see him? This is what I like. I want to see him get big so they can burst his bubble. Mexico, Puerto Rico, Virgil Ortiz, Xander Zayas, summer 2026. I'm speaking it into existence, and we break their Puerto Rican hearts. And I love Puerto Rican fighters too. Trinidad was probably my favorite fighter growing up. Believe it or not, man. I rooted for Felix Tito Trinidad, and I was going for Cotto versus Floyd Mayweather. you know. But Tony Margarito came in, the Mexican, put a beating on that Puerto Rican. But hey, man, it's all fun. It's all fun and games. It's all worth a laugh. And they got a pipeline, man. Puerto Rico, I think Puerto Ricans have the most chance per capita as far as talent, right? I'm not really sold on Xander, but I've been wrong. Yeah, that he's a good boxer, but people say he don't have no power. He's a big guy, though. I think he may be bigger than Virgil Ortiz. I don't think he's bigger than Jaron Ennis, but he can give, if Karen Khadijak can give Jaron Ennis problems, then Xander definitely can. It's just the lack of pop, But a lot of times, man, with these fighters, with the lack of pop, is they don't commit. What I was taught in my first days in the gym is turning punches over. And in order to turn a punch over, your feet have to be planted. If you watch the great Felix Tito Trinidad, you see that he was just a devastating puncher. But when he fought somebody like Oscar that moved a lot, Tito had to be planted. And Oscar never let him get his feet planted. Virgil gonna stop him? Who, Xander or Jaron? You don't sound, Rasa. Well, is that a good? Do I need to speak like these? Do I need to be like these? Come on, man, that ain't right. I love my brothers, but hey, we all come from different parts. Texans speak different, people in Washington speak different. Salute BDA, thank you. Salute. Go check out BDA with the opinions, letting people talk. The boxing debate arena. Tito versus Fernando Vargas. Yes. If anybody wants to hop on, hit the like. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit a 1. But yeah, Xander Zayas, I think he's good. I think he could beat Virgil Ortiz. Look, man, a lot of people say that Virgil Ortiz already has a loss on his record, against Bokachuk. How do you guys feel? This is what it's about. It's about your opinion. I can get on here and say, Virgil Ortiz is my hero. I want to interview him. I want to be his BFF. I DM on Twitter. I DM him on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I could really make a Virgil Ortiz fan club, but that's not how I roll. You know what I'm saying? I would rather not be his friend so I can criticize him. But I do think he is the best of the class. And the reason I die on that hill right now is because he beat the man who arguably beat the man. What more do you need to see? Virgil Ortiz beat the man who beat the man, and he beat him more convincingly in a more dominating fashion. Okay, he beat him with hard body shots, followed him around the ring. Virgil Ortiz is the man, arguably. I think he is actually the number one fighter ranked on Ring Magazine, right? So, but Xander, now, who would have thought Xander Zayas would be ahead of both guys? I mean, look, Jaron Ennis this time last year was saying he was going to get undisputed. He had said he doesn't need to move up to 154, right? He kind of sold people on that idea, on that belief that he was going to become a legend at 147. And the only reason he was able to do that was because Bud Crawford held on to all the belts for like a year, right? And then he vacated. So basically everybody at 147 is an email champion. I want to say the same thing happened at 154 when Jermell Charlo, who's probably the Lino, but he's been out so long. Virgil's undefeated until he isn't. I agree. But, a lot of people feel he lost. They count the knockdowns. I didn't think they were brutal knockdowns. But, that's the way the boxing public, just like I feel like Madrimov beat Bud Crawford. And if he didn't beat him, he should have got a draw. But, that was never going to happen. Boxing politics plays more of a part in actual skills than the ring. If that's when Boots didn't want to deal with the IBF rehydration, that's very smart of you, right? Those are other things. We more DC. The WBO was protecting Crawford from Ortiz. Yeah, Crawford actually has come on. I mean, Virgil Ortiz debunked the whole narrative that Crawford tried to spread, saying that the WBO president had made an offer to Crawford. Now, Virgil says it's fake news. Good to see you back, man. Yeah, so passive. Thank you. Hit the like, hit the if you want me to drop the link and you got something to say, let it play a note one time. But look, man, Xander Zayas, if it does happen and he follows through and he gets Barros, God, I keep forgetting how to say that guy, Barroso, right? Is gonna surpass Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. But you know what, man, we gotta keep it a 1,000. Xander Zayas got a layup. That guy he fought, the Mexican, was definitely a layup for Xander. Mexican boxing fans, the best. Salute. Yes. Thank you. You know what makes a boxing fan good is he knows the sport. Because there's a lot of fans, hypothetically, that don't know too much about boxing. And what I mean is they follow a handful of fighters, right? They don't know the El Divinos, that is going to fight next week. They don't really know UK boxers. They don't really know Imagimov, but you guys do. And that's what separates a knowledgeable fan from a fake. No, we need all the fans we can get, but to be able to talk about boxing, right? You got to know all these names, Sugar Nunez, Navarrete. Like, how many fans know who Navarrete is? Zayas versus Perez was a fixed fight. Well, me as a content creator, I can't say it's a fixed fight, but Perez said he hurt himself, which it did look like, because the first rounds he was throwing bombs and he was catching Xander, and then about the third or fourth round, it's like he just gave up. Xander didn't stop moving either. You could say Xander just that much of a masterful boxer, but if you watch the first 3-4 rounds, it was very dangerous for Xander, and Xander was getting caught. He took it like a champ, but that was a layup. I mean, that was a classic top rank building a fighter up layup. Lopez beat Comey in a spectacular knockout for his first belt. Shakira got an aged Jamel Herring for, I believe, his first. So top rank, in this new Abazaba, he's gonna get some unknown British UK guy named Sam Noakes that he should slice through. So part of building a fighter is knowing who to match them up with, right? Get them the easy belt. Why go hard when you can go easy? True, J Will. Plus, boxing, especially for casual, can be hard to follow with all the belts, rankings, and promoters. Exactly, and you can't blame them for not knowing everything. They're not weirdos like us and nerds that follow freaking Sonny Edwards. For example, really, should you know who George Cambozo is? Should you know who Richard Hitchens is? I don't think so. Should you know who Lamont Roach is? I don't think so, man. I really don't think so. I really think the average boxing fan has room for 5 names, right? Just off the top of your head: Canelo, Crawford, Haney. Can you say Teofimo? After Canelo, Bud, Tank Davis, even the heavyweights, should boxing fans know who Alexander Usyk is? You guys are gonna be like, yeah, but I'm saying the average fan, when they have 5 names in their head. Emiliano's the future of the welterweight. Yeah, he's at the lower divisions, but he hasn't fought anybody yet. See, I keep it a buck. He really hasn't. It's a shame Kid Austin pulled out. Kid versus JoJo should be, yeah, but that was gonna be a massacre. I mean, shout out JoJo, man. That guy's gonna have brain CET, or what do you call it, CTC? I mean, he's getting bludgeons out there. That Regis was a bloodbath. The Regis pro grade JoJo was a bloodbath, and Floyd Skill, it was a layup for Floyd Schofield. But why he pulled out, I have no idea. But that guy, man, you needed to show up, man, to keep the momentum going. Now we won't see him till next year. Do you think JoJo would have beat him? I salute, man. I salute you. But JoJo lost to some no-name Mexican dude, from Tijuana 2 years ago. And I don't know, man. JoJo's good. CTE. Thank you. I ain't too bright here, like Rocky says. I ain't too bright here, That's why I box, That's why I talk boxing. Yeah. So where was I? Xander Zayas plugging away, gonna get ahead of the curve. And what's Fedora doing, man? At one point last year, Fedora, after he beat Tim Tszyu, he's the man. He's unbeatable. And now we don't even hear from him. Mama Schofield don't want that JoJo smoke. Maybe, that's a good Emiliano Garcia beat Mason Kid Austin. Okay, did he? I see. That's the thing about boxing. I don't know. I don't follow it like that. I barely know who the amateurs are anymore. I just know when they kind of show us these Zaquan Moseses, and last week it was like Amari Jones. I think everybody knows who Carmel Morton is. But again, like, where are those guys? Where's Carmel Morton been? Anyway, this was about the late breaking news. Xander Zayas looking to unify, but if he's looking to unify, is that another layup? I mean, look, man, Virgil Ortiz had to fight Bokachuk, who was tough. Nobody probably wanted to fight. They're saying he didn't look good in his last fight, but that could be he took a beating. In boxing, when you talk boxing, you got to look at every angle. Every angle needs to be examined. Like I said, Eddie Hearn, now they're already prepping you guys that it's not going to happen next. Eddie Hearn is saying that if Ortiz doesn't happen, now why would he say that if they're going to the fight? Why would Eddie Hearn say if it doesn't happen? Maybe because that's telling you it's not going to happen. That's the way they do it, dude. They pump it up. They get you all excited. They get you all hot and bothered, and then they tell you they don't have protection. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's terrible news. What's terrible news, Jay Will? Floyd doesn't even put Carmel on TV. I don't get it. Well, he failed to make weight. Something happened. Boots ducking. Look, man, I don't know if he's ducking. It's hard to say, but I think what I speculate is they want to drive the price up even more. So they see there's a demand for the fight. It's obvious they're hoping Ortiz looks bad. That's another thing I suspect. See, that's looking at every angle. What Eddie said. Oh, you seen it. So you went in. Yeah, Frank Bay gives you no fake news. I don't spread narratives, bro. I look what they're saying, and then I interpreted how I think it's happened. Yeah, and Robert Garcia said he doesn't think it's going to happen, and that's his trainer. And these guys are all part of the negotiations. They all are part of the team, and they decide when they're going to fight. But I think it's a classic example of milking the fans. They're getting everybody hot and bothered. They're taking the room temperature, see what the demand is. And then they'll put it on pay-per-view later in 2026, make it bigger. Fedora grew out that Richard Torres. Oh, yeah, that was. And then he had like a 70s porn outfit on. It was very. I don't know what he was going for. I don't know if he was trying to get gifts and milfs. It just looked kind of creepy. He kind of looked like a creeper. Was it a Halloween costume? And plus, he looks like a stick figure. It was kind of funny. Good to know about Emilio Garcia. Who's Emilio Garcia, BDA? But yeah, they're already testing the waters, and I think they're just doing it to drive the price up. That's my suspicion about Ortiz and Ennis. But judging from the crowd, you guys still have not said, if let's say we get it, Ortiz and Ennis. Let's say we get. How about this? Let's say we get Teo Shakur in January pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao and Rolly Romero pay-per-view, and then Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz in March pay-per-view, because I think David Benevidez, Turkey Ali said that David Benevidez, and if Danny Haney's successful, they're already headlining a February pay-per-view. So that's going to be 4 pay-per-views within the first 3 months. And that's just what we know. The UK, they throw on Chisora and who's the other guy pay-per-views. They're putting all these like mediocre fights on pay-per-views. So, we could have like 5-6 pay-per-views within the first quarter of 2026. Lamont Roach and Isaac Pitbull is pay-per-view. I don't know if the Inui fight at the end of the year is pay-per-view, but look, man, we're getting a slew of pay-per-views, and DAZN has raised the prices, and they're talking about a fight pass. And if you listen to Frank Bay, I told you this when last year before anybody that was probably the model they were going to use: create the league and make a fight pass. So you still have to pay for DAZN. The fight pass is kind of a way to lessen the pay-per-views. That you're not going to pay for pay-per-view, you're just going to have to pass, but you're still paying for the subscription, right? Pac-Man Rolly pay-per-view. Oh yeah, and then Ryan and Barrios pay-per-view. So yeah, it's gonna be at least four pay-per-views within the first quarter of 2026, because I forgot Rolly Barrios' pay-per-view, Manny Pac pay-per-view, Takira Tio Shakira pay-per-view, Benevidez and Haney pay-per-view, and then Jaron Ennis and Ortiz pay-per-view. Now I doubt the Zayas Barroso will be pay-per-view unless Top Rank they can't get anybody to show it. So they'll put it on pay-per-view. Maybe like 30-40 bucks. That was one of the strategies that Turkey used. I wouldn't be mad if they made Tio Shakira pay-per-view for 40 bucks. Like if the pay-per-views were $40, I wouldn't be upset, because that's reasonable, right? I'll buy 4-5 pay-per-views within 3-4 months. 40 bucks. I spend that on coffee. I mean, basically 40 bucks is a fast food meal now. The reality that we're living in right now is that 40 bucks is your average just getting a ham sandwich at the grocery store, with some juice, some milk, and some eggs. When it used to be under $20, when $20 could get you 3-4 Happy Meals, now $20 gets you a Happy Meal and maybe a dessert. So boxing is going that way. The pay-per-views have steadily increased every 2 years. Just like with video games, the subscriptions have doubled. Every subscription in America, all these platforms have doubled, tripled. You know what I'm saying? So it's just par for the course. So look, man, get ready to pay $80 to $90 per pay-per-view. And I don't think the fans are going to do it. I think Tio Shakira will flop. But anyway, back to boxing before we get depressed with the economics of the sport. But that's another reason I don't think Ortiz, and I'd pay 50-40 months prescription. We got everything. Yeah, but that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do with the Fight Pass. But that's just with DAZN, right? Turkey, Zuffa, DAZN, how like UFC Fight Pass, right? That's what they're trying to do on DAZN, is have kind of an equivalent. But you still got Top Rank. You still got PBC pay-per-views. So that's what PBC has been relegated to, is the pay-per-views. The funny thing is that training in boxing is cheaper than actually watching the sport. Yeah, but I think the gym is now $150 for just 1 month at a boxing gym is $150. Like, what average kid is gonna do that? I think youth sports is anywhere from, maybe football is pretty expensive now for a youth, but baseball is like $150 for the season. But boxing, unless you go to like an aerobics gym, you're looking at any between $80 and $120 for CrossFit and all those kind of these new training methods. But as far as like just keeping up with the sport, yeah, gloves and headgear and things like that. But for the amateurs, those guys, they travel, they pay a lot for these tournaments. They get fundraising help. But yeah, boxing is doing itself no favors, man. There's really no more televised boxing on ESPN, regular cable. I don't think anybody has cable anymore, Emilio Joria type might be the next big rivalry. Well, we got to see, man. I mean, the way it's looking, look, if we had regular schedules, then maybe we could get a better understanding. But right now, they're just trying to put big fights so they can sell on pay-per-view. Right, which is good and bad if we think about it. Hopefully they don't do the tune-ups on us. But the tune-ups is what you'll get for free, right? They do the switcheroo. They say, okay, Ortiz and Ennis is gonna fight, but they're gonna do a co pay-per-view. Remember when Ryan? That's another way to milk the fans. Is before Bud Crawford and Earl Spence, Crawford fought Avanesian. Just another way to milk the fans. When Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fought, they had Tank Davis fought another Garcia just to milk you. Did you see FBI investigating? Yep. After what happened with the NBA, $500 a year for just boxing, best I can do, and that's pushing it. That's what I've been hearing over fixed fights. Yeah. Who is it? Lou DiBella was on Ariel Helwani talking about that. It's a really good interview. And see, that's the hard thing about boxing, is that who's to say? Like, I seen some questionable fights when I think Regis Haney was questionable, and not in the sense that it's fixed, but that like Regis laid down. I really think that Ryan laid down against Rolly Romero. Now, I brought that, speaking to other people in boxing about that. They think that Ryan's just not that good. But the way Ryan fought it, I wouldn't be. He was such a heavy favorite. I mean, it's not out of the question that maybe he lost that on purpose. Maybe to burn Oscar because he hates Oscar that much, and to hopefully get out of his contract. Because if a fighter loses, a lot of times, the company has the option to let him go. Maybe that was a 4D chess move by Ryan, right? You never know, man. I mean, look, man, who's to say the trainer doesn't just throw in the towel? It doesn't have to be the fighter that is laying down. There's so many ways. If you listen to Luke DeBella, he's saying there's just so many ways from the ref. Look at what the ref, the questionable calls. People were up in arms of Wardley and Parker, and the reason that it is because we know Wardley would probably sell better. So in boxing, it could be the referee, it could be the corner. I mean, dude, there's just, there's been stories of fighters being poisoned in hotel restaurants. Emmanuel Stewart talks about how he only allowed his fighter to eat cooked meals that he made. What happened to Ryan? Maybe somebody snuck in and put something in his toothbrush. Like these, you guys laugh, but they're not out of the question. I think Tank Davis got mad because Bernard Hopkins touched him, and then his fan base said that Bernard tried to rub some cream on him. Pause, right? But they like some kind of drug, the clear and the cream, like that they would get him positive, right? Ryan has been my 6th. You'd think his right jabs would be more developed by now. Well, Ryan, he doesn't train. He doesn't, he's not dedicated 100%. He believes in his talent, which he's very talented, but he doesn't train like that. If anybody wants to hop on, let me know. But just wanted to cover some of the news and notes of the day. We'll be going a longer, here and there, but kind of just wanted to run down the Bivol, Benevidez, because I think that's what he should do. He's saying Canelo's a pussy, and drop the link. Okay, can you chat for a little bit, because drop the link, homeboy. Hold on, give me 1 second. But then the new breaking news is Xander getting ahead of the curve. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, there's the link. Just don't no D-bombs, please. I think I have some company coming, so I may have to step away, but if you want to come in, hopefully you can hold it down and we can chitter chatter. But yeah, man, how do you guys feel about it, man? I said, I mean, I kind of broke down Ortiz and Lubin. I broke it down. I think this is a layup for Ortiz. Xander got a layup, man. I mean, that's what's crazy is that people they say Xander's good, but that was a fucking layup, bro. Come on. Why does nobody say, look, is Xander good? Maybe, but he got a freaking layup, dude. That was a layup if I ever saw a layup. Hello, Mr. BDA. Okay, I think this Mr. BDA.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
Okay,
you hear me?
It's all good. Yeah.
What's up? Thank you for having me on, man. Yeah, if you it doesn't matter if you have to cut it short, man. I just wanted to.
Oh, okay.
I like what I'm hearing so far.
Oh, okay. What part?
Well, I mean, first of all, okay, going back to the whole thing of boxing, you were MIA for a little bit, but I assume you were still watching the sport. So this year we had a lot of good things, and there were no complaints. So I don't know if this is just a lull after post Canelo Crawford, because really after that fight, okay, we had Inoue MJ the next day, and that for about a month and a half we had nothing. It's almost 2 months after, if you think about it, after September 13, where we're finally getting a matchup that we're anticipating, which is Lubin Ortiz. And even then, over there in Texas or wherever it's taking place, the tickets, it's not selling well. And apparently somebody in the Discord from Texas, he said that the tickets are overpriced. So I don't know what these guys are thinking now. Maybe they're paying these guys too much and they got to overprice the tickets. But then you were talking about that the zone pass And if you want to watch boxing, you get Amazon, but who knows how much longer the PBC is gonna last over there? Because they've done about what 4 or 5 shows this year. That's insane. That's less than one a month, and most of it is on pay-per-view. So really, the home of boxing right now is the Zone. And again, I don't want to come along as a negative Nancy, but these last 2 months have really been horrible. I mean, it would have been one thing if, during the last 2 months, they announced fights for January or February, and you're thinking, okay, there's going to be some boxing. They haven't announced anything or much of a note. I mean, okay, we got Navarrete versus Sugar Nunez. But other than that, like, what else are we expecting? What's down the line? The Ring 4 card, there's some good fights. I'm looking forward to Bam versus Pumita Martinez. And that's really, and Haney versus Norman. That should be interesting or intriguing, but it has the potential to be a very boring fight because we know how Haney fights. And I'm sitting here and I'm crossing my fingers that Norman takes the dude out. But what do you think? What do you think about that card as a whole?
I think it's a good card. They said it was going to be Turkey, I guess, had said it wasn't no more pay-per-views, and then it's going to be pay-per-view. I mean, I think it's worth buying, but the main event is not a truly mega main event, in my opinion.
It's not. It's not. It's I like David Benevidez' style. I like that he gets it. He tries to go for the knockout, even though he hasn't gotten it in the last 2 fights. But I like watching him fight. Like you were saying, we need the most fans we can get. I think we need to get the most entertaining fighters we can get because there's not that many out there. And when you get a guy like David Benevidez, I've had my complaints about how his career has been steered in the past. But overall, as a fighter, I like what I see. But you're right, though. That yard fight, that's the main event. Listen, I'm not complaining necessarily because I would rather have that as the main event instead of Haney versus Norman. Because like I said, that has that potential to be very, very, very boring.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as Haney Norman, what I see is a lot of people are not giving Haney a chance, but I am because he can stick the joint out. But that goes to your point that Haney, he has no other option to win. And Turkey Ali already announced that I guess if Haney and Benevidez are successful, then they'll headline a February card. So that's another thing. Is and then you're talking about entertainment. It looks like Tio and Shakira are imminent, or that's what they're posting for a January showdown, which has the chance to be a snoozer. And Tio versus Barboza wasn't exactly exciting. I mean, I was throwing fucking tortillas at the screen at Barboza because I'm like, dude, I think I said this on your show. I was like, you're wearing chaps, you guys are slapping each other with whips, and then you guys fight like that. Like, oh god.
Yeah, they were wearing chaps. Yeah, it's true, but they were dressed very bizarrely. It's interesting now that you mention it. Last year in 2024, that was technically the first year in which the Sheik and the whole Rhea thing really got on to full effect. Because I remember the first mega card that they ever had was the 2023 one with the, I think it was Day of Reckoning. Remember with Wilder, Joseph Parker, Joshua versus Wallin. You had the Ron Miller. Yeah, so that was the first mega card, but that was at the end of the year. So 2024 really was the first year where we saw these consistent, supposedly mega cards, and we didn't have a lot. We had the 5 versus 5. We had the Latino card where you had William Cepeda versus Farmer and Zurdo versus what's his name? Was it Chris Billiam Smith? I think, yeah. And you also had the Joshua Ngannou card. You had Fury Usyk, and there's another one, Crawford Madrimov. I thought that was one of the best cards of the year of 2024. So we had about 5-6 cards. This time we haven't really had that many mega cards. I mean, think about it. We had Beterbiev Bivol. That was a very good card. No complaints here. We had the ring in New York, City of Wolves, whatever it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Canelo versus School. I mean, that they tried, but it wasn't all that great. And then that's really it, man. I mean, Canelo versus Crawford, they had one good one in Billy versus Christian what's his name? Martinez. I forget his first name.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, it was okay. It was okay. It was more people were watching for the main event. But now, where are these mega cards?
They don't fight often enough.
That's the
I
thing.
mean, like Richard Hitchinson. I mean, there's so many good fights that could be made, but they they just don't fight often enough. And then we're getting Ryan and Barrios. Pac-Man is supposed to come back in January, and those are all gonna be pay-per-view PBC $80. I don't mind if the zones were $40. I wouldn't cry and bitch and complain, but they're gonna be $80 pay-per-views. So
yeah, and that's the
like
thing, though. It's
go ahead.
it's we're paying for the zone. It's not like it's free. It's not it's not network television. We're already paying. So now what they're saying is, hey, pay some more. That's where the disconnect is.
But that's the thing, because we're okay, like if we stop demanding, maybe they don't keep charging us, right? It's like, oh, these guys really want this Duran Ennis Ortiz fight, so they're gonna pay. I don't. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like we're demanding it, so they're like, okay, well, they want Tio Shakur, so of course they're gonna pay. But they're missing the fact that we don't pay. Like, where have they not seen that we don't pay?
That's a great point. That's a great point, because they set up these cards, and these guys, because again, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are probably demanding a lot just to fight each other, because they're both terrified of losing. Well, Teofimo Lopez perhaps less so, because he's already lost and he's taking more risks than Shakur Stevenson, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure they want to get compensated. But like you said, that's therein lies the onion in the ointment. These pay-per-views have not been selling well. Other than Crawford Canelo, which was going to sell no matter which platform you put it in. It could have been on Amazon, could have been on the Zone, could have been on fucking ESPN if they had wanted to, and it would have done money either way. But these other cards that they've held, I mean, Usyk versus Fury didn't exactly lit the world on fire in terms of pay-per-view buys. So you're right, man. It's true. It's, they're like, hey, we're making the fights, yeah, but you're paying them too much, and that's where this whole Ali Act things, this Ali Act thing comes along, because way too many people, Frank, and I like your platform, and I think we try to do the same thing over at BDA, that somebody has to stick up for the fans, which is us, by the way. We're the fans, because yeah, okay, we want to see Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, and like you said, these people are like, all right, you want to see it, you gotta pay. Why? Nobody else is. Everyone, I mean, these people, nobody knows who Teofimo Lopez in the streets. Nobody knows who Teofimo Lopez is. And I know for a fact nobody knows who Shakur Stevenson is. Shakur Stevenson had a chance to be a big name in New Jersey, and the last 2 times he fought in New Jersey, people walked out and booed his ass. So no, people don't want to pay. You shouldn't be paying this dude $6 million or $5 million or however much money he's going to get paid to fight Teofimo Lopez. And same thing with Teofimo Lopez, even though he's more entertaining generally, a little bit more entertaining than Teofimo Lopez, but his fights sting as well. The Subirel Matias, the Ortiz, and I know Ortiz had a lot to do with it, running around the ring, back foot bitching it. But at some point, is that the best we've got? This is the best we've got now as boxing fans, that we have to pay for these fights that shouldn't even be pay-per-view. Something's wrong here.
It is. But like Hawker's talking about HBO and Showtime. Basically, at this point, I don't even say that, because you sound like an old head. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn. Like I kind of hear myself. I'm like, damn. I mean, they probably think I'm like freaking 80 years old talking about when HBO and Showtime is like, it's over, it's done. We got to move on from that. But
that's the thing, though. It's when HBO was around here in Canada, because it didn't exist in Canada up until the 2010s. I bought HBO Canada when it started coming out, because I wanted to see the fights. But then by 2018, who the fuck needs it if there's no boxing? And that's the thing. Again, it gets expensive too, because the less fights there are, essentially you might be paying $15 on top of your cable bill to watch boxing, 2-3 times a month? That's not a lot. I mean, excuse me, not even 2-3 times. What am I talking about? Because that would be a lot. That's one weekend per month. Sometimes you get 1 or 2. That's half the month. And it's not really worth it if you think about it.
I mean, none of it's worth it. I mean, if I'm being honest, like I could miss a fucking Shakira fight. Like we talk about that daily, right? Like, am I gonna lose sleep over missing a Haney fight? Nah, but I feel like I'm a crack addict. I'm addicted to boxing. I've been told that, because I've walked away from the sport at least 7 times in my lifetime. Like after Mayweather Ortiz, remember the headbutt?
Sure.
I told my dad, because he bought it for my birthday, I was like, I'm never watching this sport again. I'm fucking done.
Right. I mean, you should have been a little bit more grateful, man. What the fuck?
No, I know, but I was just pissed that it ended like that, because
did you strike your father too, man?
Yeah. Oh man. I don't give a shit. But yeah, man, I mean, I've been done with this sport so many times. I can't even count anymore, but I mean, I can't stop watching it. You know what I mean? But with the HBO and Showtime, they put the pay-per-views, but what I remember is they still gave you free fights, like fights
Hmm.
that you could like Corrales Castillo, I think was free. Barrera Morales was on regular. You know, you still got a steady diet to keep the appetite wet, and then they do the mega pay-per-views.
Hmm.
So,
That's the
but with the
thing. Yeah.
zone, oh, I'll just finish my point. But with the zone, I mean, I'm noticing on social media, people are like um, bragging about canceling because they're not getting anything. They're getting dick.
You're right, though. It's true, man, because HBO in the beginning, especially in the 80s, which a lot of people consider to be the golden era of HBO boxing, you had a lot of fights, and then the real big ones would be pay per view or short circuit. Essentially the same thing. But that's, if you weren't, they weren't saddling you. I mean, 2006 was one of the worst years that I recall. They had Hopkins Tarver was pay per view. Code over. No, what was the other one? Hasim Rahman versus Oleg Maskaev 2 was on pay per view. They were just putting everything on pay per view, and it was disgusting. It was, yeah. Barrera versus Rocky Juarez 2 was a pay per view. I like that one though because the undercard was good, but it would just it's almost like there were pay per views every other weekend, and it was disgusting. People aren't gonna pay for that, so why are you paying? But even then, at least, like you said, you would see some of the big names, like Ricky Hatton fought for free
Uh-huh.
in 2006 on HBO. Barrera did fight for free in 2006. Manny Pacquiao fought on for free on in 2000. No, wait a minute. No, he didn't. He didn't. Everything else. See, that's the thing. All his fights, his big fights in 2006 were pay per view. When he fought Morales the second time, pay per view, and then the third time pay per view. And that's even back then, 300,000 pay per view buys. That was a lot for the little guys because
It
Pacquiao
was.
wasn't mainstream yet. But it's still, my point is that there were about 8, 9 pay per views that year. It's like, what the fuck? And real quick, one thing that you did mention that I found interesting was theoretically, perhaps as a fan, we are in the right to not watch these fights, or maybe even choose to watch them via the radio, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah.
because technically, yeah, something has to be done to bring the price down. It's supposed to. We're already supposed to be showing it to the fans. I mean, to the fighters, because only the hardcore fans are buying these pay per views. They know this. They're looking at the
Exactly.
zone, even though they don't release the numbers. They know how many people bought the City of Wolves card or even the Canelo school fight, and yet they keep on doing it because I have to believe that it's because these fighters are so pampered and spoiled. They keep demanding these mega pay per views. So you know what? Maybe it's time now that even us, the hardcores, stop paying for this to drive home the point and drive down the market price. That hey, the Sheik should be telling these dudes, you want to fight, and you want to fight like okay, you want to. We don't want any tune-ups. We don't want you having a tune-up. Like Jerron Ennis wanted 2 tune-ups at
Right.
154. Okay, we'll put you. Okay, let's say you want to have a tune-up. We'll pay you 500K. That's a lot for a tune-up, by the way. You don't like it? Go see who else buys it and who else pays you for that shit. And then, okay, now you want to fight Teofimo Lopez or whatever? 3 mil. That's what you get. It was like the UFC. That's why all these guys are afraid of Dana White and TKO, and they're gonna ruin boxing. Look at it right now. Does it seem like it's not near ruin already? Something drastic needs to happen. And these fighters who get spoiled and pampered, I don't feel bad for them. Oh, the modern day gladiators, you got to protect them. You got to respect them. Fuck, I don't have to do anything. I respect them if they earn it. And if these dudes
Yeah.
don't earn it and they still cry and moan about getting paid 3 mil per fight, then guess what? Something drastic needs to be done from our end. And that's why nowadays I'm starting to realize, you know what? This whole piracy thing, maybe it ain't that bad. More people should be fucking stealing these fights because maybe then they'll understand that the boxers and the people who organize it, that hey, these guys don't deserve to get paid 6 mil per fight.
Well, look, if they did it maybe once or 2 times a year, maybe
Mhm.
okay. But they're just like next year. I said in the first quarter is going to be at least 5 pay-per-views from 3 different companies.
Jeez,
Like
Louise.
you can't realistically expect people to just dish it out like that. That's just unrealistic. So yeah, I guess that guy Two Tone, the superstar, he created the Fire Stick Boys. I don't know if you heard about
Yeah,
when
I've heard
he's
about that.
the Fire Stick Boys. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, man. I gotta we gotta continue this, but
The Fire Dick Boys. What?
my appointment is here, so
All right,
you
all
know
right,
what I
right.
mean. But
The,
thank
pri-
you. It's
the
a good one.
massage, the massage girl is here.
Yeah, she's gonna leave right now, bro. No, I'm
As
just
long as it's
kidding.
not a massage dude, then
Okay, yeah.
I didn't
All
know you
right.
were part of the Fire Dick Boys. But anyway, yeah,
Oh man, I'm sorry. This was a good one, but
that's all right, man. That's all
yeah.
right. That's fine.
Okay. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys,
All right.
and
Take it
I'll see
easy.
you again.